The creators of Bastion, Transistor and Pyre once again show their quality, this time with an incredible action roguelike that always makes us go further. My name is Catalina and this is our video review for Hades. The plan is simple. Leave home from the bedroom window, travel through Tartarus until the scorching Asphodel Meadows, from there to the Elysium Fields, and finally across the Styx to reach the way to the surface, to the mortal realm. Young Zagreus, son of Hades, and therefore prince of the underworld, knows that he'll encounter all manner of difficulties on his journey, but he also knows that he's willing to die over and over again to reach his objective. What could possibly go wrong? Supergiant Games has many successes in its history. It would seem that none of their productions can fail, which sets an extremely high bar for the quality of their future projects. Their new game, Hades, which finally leaves early access after almost 2 years in development, meets and exceeds expectations, offering a memorable gaming experience through its combat mechanics, as well as with its audio-visual production, story, and character development. Hades is an action roguelike with an isometric view where our objective is to flee the house of Hades and reach the surface where the mortals live. To achieve this, we cross 3 main areas of the underworld, each one with its chambers filled with all types of enemies and dangers that will try to stop Zagreus' mission at any cost. Since we're already in the underworld, dying will return us straight to the Homebloods pool, and we'll have to start everything again from there. Although, maybe with a little bit of extra help this time around. Zagreus' Odyssey boasts an amazing combat system. Our MC has a basic strike, a special strike, a spell in the form of throwing crystals, and finally a sweep to dodge potential enemy attacks. These basic components are complemented with 2 layers of personalization. On one hand, the weapon we choose to face our escape attempt. On the other, the divine interventions that will help us on our journey. At the beginning, Zagreus only has a sword, a good weapon suitable for all types of combat. But as our attempts to flee progress and we obtain certain items, we'll enable a host of offensive options, each one with their own gaming style based on our hero's basic movements. A spear for short and long range attacks, a shield to be able to rush anybody, a bow and arrow to attack from a safe distance, gauntlets designed to take advantage of the power of our fists, and even a cannon, a true firearm in this world of ancient myth. Each weapon requires very different strategies when using them, providing the player with multiple gaming options, all of which are very welcome. These options are broadened by divine favors. During our travels, we'll find orbs with direct communication to the gods of Olympus: Zeus, Aphrodite, Dionysus, Hermes, and everyone else. Each one can give powerful modifiers to our abilities, radically changing the way we approach the rest of our journey. Based on the combination of these powers with the abilities of our current weapon, there will be multiple combat styles that will make each new run through completely new experience. Faithful to the other productions from Supergiant Games, Hades enjoys a sublime storyline, quite possibly their most ambitious achievement to date. Each and every one of the characters that we'll meet on the way are flawlessly given voice by their actors, from those dwelling in the house of Hades to the gods, to the others that roam the hidden corners of the underworld. As if this weren't enough, all their personalities are excellently defined, with respect to both their tone inflections and the story offered by each new dialogue. In fact, each return to our home will show new dialogues for each character, even if we've already played for a dozen hours. The overwhelming quantity of dialogue is frankly impressive, especially because of its incredibly high quality. It won't be an easy trip, nor is it without motive. Zagreus' reasons for fleeing his home are not given at the beginning, but as the stories progress, we understand his motivations very well. Little by little, each character adds to the overarching story beyond their own respective personal arcs. We said that this wasn't going to be an easy journey, and it definitely meets that promise. Hades can be insanely difficult, even in its initial stages. The game has no mercy, and will need all our skill to emerge victorious after every new struggle. In each chamber we enter, we'll face a new number of enemies, after which we'll be rewarded with a predetermined benefit and will be allowed into the next one. Sometimes we'll be able to choose between more than one path. The reward for each future chamber is correctly stated at the entrance. Additional money, stores, hearts that increase our health, and of course the presence of divine assistance from our family on Olympus. At the beginning of our journey, the path will be very limited and we'll basically have to accept the procedural nature offered by the game's design. But as we progress, new options will be enabled, and they'll remain between rounds of escape, making new run-throughs more varied. We can influence these changes by investing multiple currencies in different aspects of the House of Hades. During our adventures in the underworld, we'll collect darkness crystals, valuable gems, keys, and even bottles of nectar. The darkness can be used in our room's mirror to activate permanent modifications to alter various characteristics of Zagreus' abilities. The gems are the goods used in exchange for adding and improving new chambers in the underworlds, although they can also be used to buy ornaments and other decorative objects for the House of Hades. The keys will allow us to expand our mirror's list of abilities and to also unlock the weapons that will appear as options. The nectar, on the other hand, is a valuable object that can be gifted to other characters, even those who we do not meet physically, like the gods that help us while we're in the middle of fighting. In the first place, these gifts are rewarded with special amulets of each character that change the rules a little bit, but as the game develops, they create strong bonds with Zagreus. There are other, far more valuable and rare objects to be discovered, and they'll be extremely useful in increasing our character's traits. Eventually, we'll enable a trading post where we can exchange coins for other objects, so there will always be reasons to go out into the underworld and find everything we can. Hades doesn't really have any issues. Every effort was made from the very beginning, and it constantly evolved the whole time it was on early access. We could perhaps mention its very high difficulty as a negative point, but even that's been taken into account by the people at Supergiant Games, allowing players to activate God mode, which reduces the total damage received, with this reduction increasing each time we die. This mode is extremely useful to be able to appreciate the game's virtues, and it's completely optional. However, even with this mode enabled, our lives won't be easy, and to reach such a point, we'll have to die many times. But that's okay, because we'll start each new run feeling that we've enjoyed every second of the journey. And here is where Hades stands triumphant, in achieving a sublime gaming experience where each new iteration adds a little more to its multiple elements, with playability improvements or by developing the main storyline or character arcs. Supergiant Games really surpassed itself with this new production, and it's hard to imagine what they can do in the future to raise the bar once again. For now, we can simply enjoy this, one of the best games in their catalog, and without a doubt, a firm candidate for Game of the Year. It is more than appropriate to say that Hades is heavenly to play while being devilishly difficult, and will enjoy every second. It's that epic. Hades is the most recent production from Supergiant Games, and also their best to date. The young Prince Zagreus tries to flee the underworld for reasons the plot will slowly make clear. The gods of Olympus will come to his aid, but our skill will determine whether we emerge victorious or if we die in the attempt to have the return to the house to begin everything again. It's a perfectly designed action roguelike, and because of all its virtues, it's awarded a resounding 10. And my recommendations for Game of the Year. Go and play it.